Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to our launch event, InvestIL. We are starting right on time. So I'm Victoria Rosen. I'm the head of startup strategy at BDO, and also the chief strategy officer of our newly established investor club, InvestIL. We have a very exciting program, so welcome, and I hope you'll have a very interesting evening. Our program today is consists of 4 parts. The first part will be opening remarks by Yaron Peled, head of BDO Israel Consulting. Afterwards, Noah Yaffe will give her greetings on behalf of the Israeli Innovation Authority. And myself and Tamir Nachmias, the CEO of our investor club, will explain you about this club, its advantages, the research and the investment topics that we are focusing on. On the second part, we'll have a very insightful 2 lectures, short lectures, but very interesting ones. We'll have Doron Moati from the law firm Pearl Cohen. He will talk about the benefits of the Israeli angel law and how investors can benefit from it. Afterwards, Amos Talmor, the chairman of Seedbiz, will give his insights from his vast experience in angel investment, and he will talk about the importance of market research before investing. In the third part, we'll have a showcase of 3 selected startups of our club, each from one from each of the 3 domains that we are focusing on. We'll have health tech, we'll have climate tech, green energy, and we'll have also AI. So it's worthwhile waiting for this. And in the last part, the fourth part, we'll have an option for Q&A, so it will be an open discussion. Feel free to ask questions, but please, I see we have a lot of participants here and a lot of people joined this event, so hold your breath and wait for the end to ask your questions. Otherwise, this event will take much longer than we can. So on this note, stop sharing and I invite Yaron to give his opening remarks. So hold tight.
Okay. So welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Yaron Peled. I'm the head of BDO Israel Consulting, and I'm honored to open InvestIL Angels Club launch event. Despite the challenging times, and thanks to people like you, Israel remains a center of innovation and technological hub with attractive investment opportunities. At BDO, we see it as our mission to offer a supportive and dynamic platform, a place where innovation thrives and opportunities grow. Along with our partners, the Israel Innovation Authority and Seedbiz, a pioneering Israeli startup platform, we've created InvestIL in this spirit. InvestIL provides an exclusive network of angel investors and venture capitalists looking to fund early-stage startups in cutting-edge industries such as AI, deep tech, life science, and health tech, agri-food tech, and climate technology. These areas worth approximately $22.5 billion in 2023 in Israel alone, which is a 30% increase over the previous year. BDO offers a variety of advantages that will contribute to the success of InvestIL. First and foremost, our global reach. We operate in about 117 countries around the globe. This global presence allows BDO to offer world-class services, resources, and partnerships on a global scale, enabling investors to navigate the Israeli startup market with ease, confidence, and efficiency. Another advantage is our vast experience in the tech and startups arena. The firm provides business services and professional support for technology companies through all stages. Starting from early stages, BDO operates a set of accelerators that prepare dozens of startups a year for funding rounds and assist companies in submissions for financial grants from the Innovation Authority and other organizations. We also assist companies at more mature stages by using a variety of audit and financial, strategic, business, and tax consulting services focused on technology. In addition, BDO's investment banking unit has led over the years hundreds of merger and acquisitions, transactions, and accompanies private investors, investment entities, private and public companies in the local and international markets. I'm convinced that together, through InvestIL, we'll move the needle toward an even more resilient Israel economy. We look forward to taking this journey together. I would like to take this opportunity to wish you all a fruitful, happy, and especially quiet New Year. Thank you.
Okay, Noah Yaffe, please, from the Israel Innovation Authority.
Thank you. So, yeah, hi, good evening, everyone. It's much pleasure to be with you today. My name is Noah Yaffe, and I'm the Investor Relations Director at the Israel Innovation Authority. For those who are unfamiliar with the work, the Israel Innovation Authority is a governmental agency that's dedicated to advancing Israel's economy through strategic investments in innovation and R&D. And our missions revolve three key pillars. The first one is we invest directly in groundbreaking, high-risk technological innovation. We build infrastructures gearing up for emerging technologies, and we're enabling activities to remove growth barriers. So we invest $500 million annually, offering a wide range of grants tailored to startups at all stages, from ideation and pre-seed to round A. And we invest alongside with private investors, angels, VCs, providing grants that operate like conventional loans, so without taking any equity at all. We put more emphasis on hard tech and deep technologies, where the risk for investors are much higher than other sectors. And I don't have the time today to tell you more about them, but I definitely encourage you to reach out and to learn more about those opportunities we offer. Beyond direct investment, we also support in different initiatives that strengthen Israel's innovation ecosystem, and that is why I'm particularly excited to be here today, celebrating this launch of InvestIL Angels Club in partnership with BDO and Seedbiz. InvestIL is creating a unique platform for investors to access and support some of Israel's most promising early stage startups. And I'm confident that your involvement in this visionary initiative will not only open doors to exciting opportunities, but also allow you to help shape the future by making innovations that could truly change the world. So thank you very much to you all, and good luck.
Thank you, Noah. And now, please, we'll hear from our CEO, Tamir Nachmias.
Good evening, everyone. I'm happy to see so many attendees. It's really thrilling. Welcome to the first event of InvestIL, first out of many to come. I will be brief and will not take much of the event's time. I don't like to talk about myself so much, but I've been told I should at least today introduce myself. So my name is Tamir Nachmias. I'm coming from the background of business development, M&As, and fundraising. During the years, I had the opportunity to be a part of deals that translated to acquisitions in more than $450 million, especially in medical device, but also in life science and other fields. And in InvestIL, we will try to do exactly that. We will use the opportunity given to us by the Innovation Authority to try and help young entrepreneurs, the greatest inventors, they're trying to break the frontier. We will help them, we aspire to help them to try to get their first or early push to reach their goals and create their impact. We also aspire to be a beacon and a hub for investors, a place they know they can find companies with entrepreneurs and people that match the same values as them. And these values usually are do good and create a positive impact into the world. Therefore, we will focus on three main areas. The first one will be life science, new treatments, cures, things that saves lives, solutions that saves patients' lives. We are also very strong advocates for food tech and agri-tech. We believe that there is a great significance to what we eat and the way we grow the food. Therefore, we will focus on that as well. And of course, AI and deep tech, we can see the recent emerging technologies creating a huge impact and getting into every aspect of our lives. We believe in the near future, it will be part of every system that we know of. Therefore, we will be focused on that. Like I said, I will not take much time. All the companies you will see today are all in those fields. And I hope you will have a productive webinar, and I leave you with Victoria's trusting hands. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Tamir. So I will take the time to explain you about InvestIL value proposition. And before, I will just briefly introduce myself. So I'm coming from both entrepreneurial background. I had an AI-based startup that sold to Microsoft a few years ago. Beforehand, I worked at the Israeli Ministry of Defense and also part of the diplomatic delegation in the embassy of Israeli embassy in Switzerland. So the experience that I bring to the club is both from the corporate world. I worked both also in large IT companies and also from the entrepreneurial angle, and also from as an external consultant angle. So these both parts of my experience are quite helpful to manage this kind of challenging event that is an investment club, and also to identify the really interesting startups and to be helpful to them. So when we talk about InvestIL, we have several core capabilities that distinguish us from other investment clubs. So the first one is, of course, the fact that InvestIL is a daughter company of the large BDO corporation that is working in 166 countries and has a global accounting and strategy consulting experience as a top firm in this area. This experience enables us to understand really deeply the business trends and the market needs, since we are advising to large corporations in multiple industries. And this gives us a very unique insights that are not available for regular people. And of course, this enables to identify the really promising startups and to understand their product market fit. The second unique proposition that we provide is the team's actual understanding in complex technologies. So Tamir, as he presented himself, he's coming from a health tech background. I'm coming from an AI background, and we have people that actually understand in those technologies. So it's not just bringing startups and investors together. We can actually understand if the technology makes sense. So we're quite an interesting team in this aspect. Also, we have a very advanced and multi-layered process to identify and screen startups. This I can show you briefly. Of course, you will receive this presentation later on, but briefly, we start from locating innovative Israeli startups, not just from our BDO and Seedbiz networks, but also from our partners like R&D centers, academia, hospitals, incubators, entrepreneurial communities, and so on. It's very important to spread the net and to understand the real jewels that are existing here in our very interesting and exciting country. The second step is a screening interview with the team. So we actually meet the entrepreneur, we talk with him for 1 hour, ask him all the hard questions, and really understand if his product makes sense in terms of product market fit, if he has any technological distinctiveness, competitive edge, and of course the team experience, that they actually come from this field, have prior experience in startups and so on. It's very important. Afterwards, the third step is our investment committee screening. In this step, what we are doing is actually we're taking all the materials of the startups and give it to experts to review, both financial and business experts, but also matter-related experts that understand this technology and can say, okay, if it makes sense or not. And then we proceed to our final decision if the startup will be part of our club or not. The next value proposition that we bring is actually the fact that the investors that are joining the club, they can find a home where they can receive additional services to help them to create the best investment possible. So BDO provides expert services like special purpose vehicles to enable investors to join together in a joint investment, taxation, consulting, due diligence, portfolio and risk management, and so on. So this is quite unique that not every Angels Club can even offer or provide this kind of services. All of those capabilities are backed by user-friendly interface. We have, it's a very tech-oriented Angels Club, so we have a really nice platform where you can see all the data, all the best practices, all the related materials that you need to make the best investment possible with maximum transparency. Also, it's quite important, we don't have membership fee. Since we operate on a current BDO infrastructure, our conference rooms in 166 countries offer an ideal setting to meet entrepreneurs and to create networking events. So all of this with no membership fee. So it's quite important. So all of those capabilities that are quite distinguishing us from other investment clubs enable us to solve the major pain points that angel investors encounter once they decide to invest in a startup. So the first pain point is the fact that once you are a small angel, you don't have the same bargaining power with the startups as a large investor or a large group or VC. So basically, once we connect all the angels together and so on, we enable to negotiate and reach a fair price, both for investors and both for the parties, both for the startups. So all the parties are happy. And of course, as a single angel investor, you avoid the chance that in the future you'll be upgraded. I say it with the most sarcasm, upgraded for the worst. So once they start the next round. So once you have a power and join as a group, you have a much bigger leverage. The second pain point that we address, of course, it's the access to premium deal flow. So if you are here, we saw from the participant list that joined the webinar that we have a lot of very honorable and interesting people that have investment background and so on. But even so, if you're not, I don't know, like Bill Gates or something, like the top 10 investors that encounter one of 3 best and most promising startups, most of the investors probably will see 1 in 500 startups during their during a few years. So the ability to really reach the most promising ones is quite limited as a single person. But part of a club, you'll get exposed to much more deal flow, even if the investor, even if the startups are not addressing you directly. The last pain point that, of course, is anyone who already invested in the past is familiar with, is the fact that we save time and money on due diligence. So basically, we can see that once you're part of a club, you don't have to deal with emails like, please call me, contact me, I have an amazing startup, let's talk. So it's kind of an email trap that everyone who is spotted as an angel investor encounter via LinkedIn and so on. So basically, between this short email, you have to invest additional 3 maybe corresponding emails to meet this person, to talk with him, to create a due diligence, to pay someone to create the due diligence. It's a long and time-consuming process, which we, of course, make it much more easier and quicker. So now that we understood the unique competitiveness and the unique value proposition of our club, let's talk about the members' benefits. So first, members that join the club, they have a free participation in our events, so where you can meet startups and network with other investors. We have educational programs throughout the year, webinars, podcasts, industry insights, and best practice materials, which is very important and nice to have around the year. We have direct access and one-on-one meetings with startups. So, for example, the startups that you hear today, you'll be able to address us and ask to meet them in person for one-on-one meetings. We have a tailor-made recommendation engine that identifies your needs with a digital form, and then we can recommend you the startups that fit your interest and, of course, aspirations in the investment field. You can join group investments or VC rounds. The benefits of it are already explained in the previous slide. We have startups that received a matching investment from the Israel Innovation Authority. This automatically reduces the risk for angel investors, since on every dollar they will put, the Israel Innovation Authority already authorized a certain amount that will double the investment, of course, help the startup to reach its goal much faster. We have expert services on discounted rate, and the most important thing that we have also incentives for investors referrals. You can bring other investors and receive discounts and benefits and enjoy the whole financial model of the club. So how to join our investors network? So after this session, you will receive an application link. It's all digital. You can apply, fill out our interactive form, and so we know your preferences, and then you are a part of it and you can learn about the startups and join our networking events. Just an important thing to know before I finish, the minimum ticket size is $100 for an angel, but once you join the club, you're not required to invest. Of course, you can choose which startup you invest in and so on. You're not obligated to invest if you don't like to invest. Also, I have a little surprise, and then we'll continue our session. I have a little surprise for you. Since we already have a lot of people that start to apply to the club, so we decided to offer you as well that the 200 first investors that will join the club, they will be part of our foundation founders investors club, and they will receive priority in meeting startups and different VIP events. So you can register and be part of our founding members, let's say. Okay, so thank you. And of course, you can contact me directly or the webinars team. And now we will talk and inviting Amos Talmor, the chairman of Seedbiz, our co-founders of this InvestIL Club. Please, Amos.
Okay. Victoria, thank you very much, and thank you for the team. It was a pleasure, of course, listening to my friends here. The reason Seedbiz joined, I think, is exactly what Victoria described a minute ago. We are looking for a couple of years to help startup in their early stage. So I will start by introducing Seedbiz. My name is Amos Talmor. I'm a partner and a president of Seedbiz, and I'm also a member of the InvestIL Angels Club. And angel as myself, I already invested quite a lot in my life. Seedbiz is a consulting and advisory firm for startup founders and innovation-driven companies in their early stage. We provide entrepreneurs with the comprehensive support system that includes business, finance solution, access to the opportunities, and other community active. We have professionals and executives that are working with us, as well as extensive network platform, knowledge resources, and professional training. Our vision at Seedbiz is to encourage entrepreneurship and innovation, help founders build successful and profitable companies by establishing strong business foundation and that lead to growth. At Seedbiz, thousands of opportunities entrepreneurs pass through each year, and we will ensure to bring the most interesting opportunities to our investors club, the InvestIL. The Investor Club plays a crucial role in promoting Israeli innovation during this time, and I wish us great success in joint efforts. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Amos. And now we are very pleased and honored to invite Bo Meginson, managing partner of our leading partners from Gold Coast Angels. So please, Bo. Okay, I see that Bo is a bit delayed. So please, we'll continue with our session about the Angels Law. So please, Dawn.
Hi, everyone, and thank you, Victoria. Let me just share my presentation. So, hi, everyone. My name is Doron Mutai, and I'm a partner with Pearl Cohen, which is a leading Israeli law firm engaged with the high-tech industry, and I lead the tax group here in our Israeli offices in Tel Aviv. So I've been requested to speak shortly about the Angels Law and its incentives and basically the tax benefits that can be achieved through this law. But in order for me to be able to explain the benefits of this law, I should first, on a very high level, explain how the Israeli tax system works, and then we can gain together a better understanding of the benefits from this law. So what we're going to do is that I'll talk briefly about the Israeli tax systems, a little bit about Israeli tax rates, and thereafter we'll delve into these incentives of the law. So basically, when we're discussing Israeli tax law, we make a clear distinction between Israeli residents and non-Israeli residents, where Israeli residents are subject to tax on a worldwide basis, meaning that their income from every source would be subject to Israeli tax, whereas non-Israeli residents would be subject to tax only on income that arises from Israeli sources, meaning sources located within Israel. And this distinction basically gives rise to two questions. First, how would we determine the residency of a person, whether he's an Israeli resident or a non-Israeli resident? And there's a bunch of rules around this issue, which I won't get into this today. That's maybe an issue for another talk in a later session of this club. But basically, we can mention just beautiful Bar Rafaeli, whose contribution to Israeli tax law was with a case law on her name regarding residency in Israel. Unfortunately, she lost the case. Now, the second question would be, how would we determine the location of the source? And again, there's a list of rules regarding how we can determine whether income was arising from Israel or outside Israel. And as I mentioned, that makes a material distinction. So again, we will not get into these details, but I can say that with respect for capital gains, for example, so the location of the asset would imply whether that should be treated as an Israeli tax event or not. For example, if we sell shares of an Israeli company, then that would be treated as an Israeli tax event. Or another example would be with respect to interest income, where an Israeli company pays interest, then that interest income of the recipient would be treated as if it stemmed from an Israeli source. So let's discuss a little bit some of the tax rates that may be relevant. So the standard corporate income tax rate in Israel is 23%, and this rate may be reduced through incentive legislation. But when we're talking about early stage companies, then naturally they are not profitable at this stage, and typically they're not subject to tax. When we're talking about individuals as investors, so the marginal tax rate on ongoing income in Israel would be up to 47%, but capital gains tax would be would be at the rate of either 25% or 30%, where the higher rate of 30% applies to what we call substantial shareholders, being individuals that hold 10% or more of the means of control in a company. And apart from that, there's a certain surtax of 3% that applies on a flat basis to any income that exceeds a certain annual amount. But the good news are that non-Israeli residents are exempt from Israeli tax on capital gains from disposal of shares of Israeli companies, and that would be a material benefit for non-Israeli residents. And also this exemption may apply to Olim Chadashim and to veteran returning residents, Toshavim Chozrim Vatikim, in certain circumstances. So it would be worthy to verify entitlement to this exemption in advance before making any investment. So the reason that I was requested to speak here was the law for encouragement of knowledge-based industry, a temporary order 2023, which is the Angels Law. And basically, it was enacted as a temporary order and is effective from last July till the end of December 26, but it may have an extension. This is basically a successor of a previous Angels Law that was affected from 2011 up until 2019 with some changes. And the objective of this legislation is basically providing a support to companies that are struggling to raise capital at their seed stage by providing an incentive to investors in a way that effectively reduces the cost of their investment and actually reduces also the risk in this type of investments. So before we get to the methods that apply by this law, let me just mention two definitions that are crucial for understanding of how this law works. So it defines an R&D company.
Very good. So we navigated that. We just got to get the people picked up. So just so you'll know, we have part of what we do, as I mentioned, we work with Israeli technology companies, and we have an event tomorrow on the Israeli.
So the definition of R&D companies basically relates to small companies that are Israeli resident companies that they raised less than 12 million shekels, including loans, that they have no income or less than 12 million shekels in income since their establishment, that they're engaged mainly in R&D, and that they own their IP. So that is basically, in general terms, the definition of R&D company under the Angels Law. Also, the law defines the term investor as basically an individual or a company of up to 5 individual shareholders, or a partnership whose partners are basically individuals or this type of companies. So this Angel Law refers mainly to individual investors. And it applies basically 4 methods of encouragement of these types of companies. And the first and maybe most crucial and incentivizing method would be a tax credit to private investors on an investment of up to 4 million in return for shares or options in an R&D company. And basically the mechanism here is providing a tax credit against an investment. So if, for example, I invested 4 million shekels in an R&D company, and I basically entitled to the 25% tax as a capital gain, then I can credit 1 million shekel against my annual taxes, even before I realize this specific investment. So it's a material benefit, and it has, of course, several conditions, but the downside of it is naturally that upon investment, upon exit and realization of this investment, I somehow repay the taxes, because this mechanism provides an actual deferral, not a complete credit. But still, again, it's a material benefit and a credit. The second method is some kind of a deferral of capital gains tax upon making another investment, meaning that if I had an exit from my investment in an R&D company, and then within 12 months, I reinvest some of the funds, basically up to 5.5 million shekels, then this amount would not be taxed until the realization of the second investment. So there could be like a material deferral up until the second exit. And if God forbid, and there's no second exit, then I will not have to pay the taxes on this investment. And again, that's a material benefit here. But it should be mentioned that there's no double dip, meaning that you cannot basically ask for deferral here and also ask for the credit from the method that I mentioned earlier. Another method of encouragement under this Angels Law relates not to individual investors, but rather to well-established Israeli technology companies. And basically, its object is to encourage these type of companies to acquire or to invest in seed companies, and basically to gain some development of these companies through basically amortization of this acquisition. It relates also to companies from outside of Israel, but then the incentive is to import their IP to Israel. Last but not least is exemption from interest withholding taxes. So and this method basically relates to the difficulties of these small entities to raise funds, not through capital, but rather through debt. And the incentive here is to attract non-Israeli financial institutions to extend loans to Israeli technological companies, not R&D companies, as I mentioned earlier, but that's another definition of technological enterprises. And if these foreign financial institutions extend loans that exceed $10 million, then the interest payments would be exempt from Israeli tax. And this is a material benefit, because usually this tax is borne by the companies, and that makes their fundraising cheaper. So as a summary, this Angels Law provides several types of benefits. It has some, requires some calculations, some technicalities which I didn't get into them. I would be happy to elaborate if anyone wishes to. We have some information in our website, which you can see on the screen here. That's a link to an article that we provided and published in this respect, and we would be more than happy to address any question that may arise with this respect. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doron. And now Amos Talmor will share his vast experience as an angel investor. Please, Amos.
I will be more than happy, but I think that Bo is waiting because he was supposed to talk a couple of minutes ago. I don't know if you bypass him, or whatever.
Well, actually, Bo is here with us, but since he was late, he is supposed to wait after you'll finish your talk. But if you are kind and you're willing to give him the stage, he is already here with us. So are you okay with this, Amos?
I will do it with pleasure. No,
okay, perfect. Bo.
Join us, please.
Thank you.
So Bo from Gold Coast Angels, our leading partner. Please, Bo.
Thank you. And Victoria, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I apologize for the confusion on the time slots and when you need me available and that kind of thing. But we at Gold Coast are incredibly excited to work with BDO. We're in Miami. I'm in Miami, Florida. We've been here doing angel investing since 2019. Prior to that, I was with the Angel Investor Management Group, which is primarily out of Atlanta, had presences in Atlanta, Georgia, Nashville, Tennessee, Birmingham, Alabama, and the northern U.S. Gulf Coast, where I was. And we built that into the largest, most active angel investing group in the southeastern United States up through 2018. Came here to South Florida in 2019 and have built up Gold Coast and are very excited. And Victoria, you can speak to what we're doing as far as our commitment to Israel technology. We have tomorrow here in Miami, we are hosting the Israel Venture Technology Showcase, which will feature 2 Israeli technology companies that have grown and scaled in Israel. They're now coming to the U.S. through our relationship. And we've really have built up the last, since COVID ended or since things opened up in 2022, really tried to build a conduit between Israel and South Florida to bring those companies that are scaling and growing and want to come to the U.S. market to South Florida and use South Florida along with other organizations and then other development groups like the Florida Israel Business Accelerator, which is a business development group here in Florida that targets and helps Israeli-based technology companies scale into the U.S., help those companies come here, establish their U.S. presence, and grow not only into the U.S. market, but into the Latin American market as well, which for here in Miami is very, very common because Miami is the capital of Latin America. But we're very passionate about this. It's what we're committed to do to help Israel grow, help Israeli technology continue to be the leading technology source for the planet, frankly, and that BDO is taking the lead. BDO is being the face of innovation and promotion of technology in the U.S. Israel world, and that we're very honored to be part of this with BDO. So if there's
thank you very much.
That's really all I'd say. Anything else you want me to cover or talk about?
Thank you very much, Bo. Thank you very much, Bo. We are very excited to cooperate together and to open all the U.S. investment prospects as well, and to bring as much Israeli startups to new investment opportunities. And now back to Amos Talmor with his insights as an angel investor. Thank you, Bo.
Thank you.
Bo, first of all, thank you very much. Victoria, thank you very much as well. I'm going to talk about something which usually used to bother me every time that I intend to do some kind of investment, and it's called market research. Market research helps actually to make a better investment decisions. Understanding the market, which is, by the way, I wrote myself a few comments, so I'm reading from time to time from the paper that I prepared myself. So Excuse me for that. When you are thinking about investing in startup, it's like buying a ticket to a show you haven't seen yet. You want to make sure that it's good show, right? That's where market research comes in. Market research is like scouting. Think of a market research as a scouting. You are sending out people to check out. Sorry, guys, for some reason, somebody turned my microphone off. Anyhow, you are sending your people to check out the area, see who is already there, and figure out if there is a demand for the show. This information helps you decide if the startup has a good chance of being successful. And that's the most important part, which I'm going to talk about. Key things to look for. Market size. How big is the group or the people or the companies who might want this product or services? A bigger market means more potential customers. Number two, competition. Are there already other companies doing similar things? If so, how are they doing? Understanding the competition helps you see where the startup fits in. Number three, growth potential. Is the market growing? If people are becoming more interested in this kind of thing, the startup has a better chance to success. Number four, customers' needs. Do people need or want what the startup is offering? Market research helps you understanding if there is a real demand for product or this kind of services. Most investors understand it, but only a few demand it before the actual investment. And I can say that I made many of these mistakes but in the past, meaning I use my sense, I use my experience, I use my feelings, and then I made an investment. And at the end of the day, luckily for me, only few of them fail, but they fail. And one of the reasons they fail is because I haven't done a real good market research. For example, sometimes people get a free application or a service and use it, and they are very happy. But when they need to pay, sometimes maybe only 1% are willing to pay. And market research is supposed to explore this information before the investment gets in. So don't get excited about somebody who has 10,000 people who are using the application, but rather to see if they are willing to pay for it, because we are all working for the same reason. Number five, barriers to entry. Are there any things that the world that would make it hard for other competition or other companies to compete with your startup? This could be thinking like a patent, special technology, or strong relationship with customers. It can reduce the risk, meaning using this kind of a market research, a serious market research. And by the way, BDO is part of what I'm going to do, and Seedbiz definitely our execution of this kind of researches, excuse me. By doing it, you reduce the risk. By understanding the market, you can see if the startup has a good chance of success. Nobody knows, but at least you reduce the risk. Identify the opportunities. Market research can help you find startups that are well positioned to take the advantage of the growing market. Make a better investment decision. With more information, you can make smarter choice about where to invest your money. In short, and that's final, market research is like a safety net for investor. It helps you see the potential risk, rewards of investing in a startup, so you can make informed decision and increase your chance for success. It's very simple, but it's a must. So I recommend to each and every one of you who is intent to be investor, and I'm sure that part of you are already investors, to make this decision and to take always, to make sure there is always a market research. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Amos, for these valuable insights. And now for the most important, of course, part of this evening. So we start with the startups. We start with Gentagel from the health tech sector. Afterwards, we'll have Eva from agri-tech clean energy sector, and last but not least, Amir Lieberman from the AI vertical from our investments areas. So please, Ariel.
Thank you very much. Let me see. Can you see the presentation? Yeah. So thank you very much for the opportunity to present Gentagel to you. My name is Ariel, and I'm the CEO of Gentagel. The company is based on a technology invented by Professor Avi Dom, originally from the Hebrew University and currently the chief scientist of Israel in the Science Office. We were able to raise $1.5 million from private investors, and we're about to start clinical trial in Sheba Hospital in November. So my background is more a scientific background, and together with my partner, Eli Lerner, who has more of a business-oriented background, we founded the company, and we recruited Dr. Mazal Dan as the CTO with a PhD in chemistry and a postdoc from Johns Hopkins in polymer, and Dr. Tovi Fuhrman, a pharmaceutical engineer, and she used to be a student of Professor Avi Dom. We have also a physician in the team, Dr. Gabi Polak, who is involved in technologies for many years, and Ido Agmon is our BizDev. And of course, above all, Professor Avi Dom, an international expert in drug delivery and polymers with over 90 patents in his arsenal. We also have Professor Aviram Nissan, a well-known oncological surgeon, as our PI for the clinical trial in Sheba, which is one of the 10 leading hospitals in the world. So when we're talking about antibiotic and infection, we usually refer to systemic administration of antibiotic, either IV or oral. And when there is a local infection, so the amount of drug that actually arrived to the site of infection is minimal, sometimes leading to very inefficient treatment because of the low levels of the drug, and also can cause different side effects to other organs that it arrives to. And today there is also more concern about the emergence of resistant strains of bacteria. The most common infection are the surgical site infections, SSIs, which are common after surgeries, with about 300,000 cases in the US alone, resulting in an economical burden of $10 billion. Our solution is a biodegradable polymer that is mixed with antibiotics and enabling injecting the antibiotic to the site of infection, refraining from the systemic exposure of the drug. And here it's important to understand that we're not talking about new drugs, but we're using well-known generic drugs. For example, our first product is the combination of the polymer with gentamicin. We have very good preclinical results in different animal models showing the efficacy of the product. And here it's important to understand that as opposed to different animal models for different diseases, that there is a huge gap between the animal model and the disease in the real patients. Here, the real client is the bacteria. So as long as we have the same bacteria causing the infection in the mouse, rat, or pig, it will be also relevant to the humans, and we're not species dependent. Now, of course, other solutions in the market. However, the main drawbacks that they have is either that they're not biodegradable, so you need to reoperate, or you have other side effects such as interference with the calcium regime in the bone, or other problems as low load. We bring the physician a terminally sterilized syringe ready to use in the end of the operation or when they identify the infection. We have one patent approved and 2 others in the national phase. In terms of the markets, so the first indications that we're looking on are the treatment indications. We have the orthopedic world with infections in the bones, after joint replacement. But even though the prevalence is relatively low, there are many cases, and also when there is an infection, it's very hard to treat because of the low penetration of the antibiotic to the bone, and of course the hospitalization is long, resulting in a heavy burden to the system in terms of the economic. The other market that the other indication is the abscesses, is either the abdominal or gynecological abscesses, that they can put the patient in risk. They're more prevalent after surgeries, and of course, resulting in a higher economic burden. There are also other indications such as diabetic foot that involve infection in many cases, but that's in our pipeline. And of course, the holy grail is the prevention world. Today, there are about 2 million major procedures that are relevant for our market. And this market is growing because the more surgeries, the population is getting older, and also people with implants, they carry it for many more years, and then they tend to get infected, and there are more cases. So in terms of the company, so as I said, we have very good preclinical studies, and we manufactured firstly we manufacture the product in the lab. Now we scaled it up, getting ready for a much larger production, and also we produced it in a clinical trial batch, getting ready for the trial that in November in Sheba. And the other milestone is the regulatory route. So we have FDA veteran consultant indicated that our route would be 505(b)(2) for known drugs, meaning that we will have to prove in about 50 to 100 patients that our route of administration is at least as good as the systemic administration of gentamicin, and also that it's not less safer, and this is quite easy to prove. After these 2 milestones, the company, of course, the value of the company will go from up to $30-40 million, and then we will recruit money for the clinical trial as the FDA will guide us. And of course, after that trial, the product will be ready for the market, and then the value of the company will get to about up to $200 million, and that we get from other companies in the same route. So the company plans to partner a large company after the trial, and also we're looking for collaborations with other pharmaceutical companies that have their own proprietary antibiotic drugs, and they want to enhance the potency. And we already initiated talks with 2 companies in these fields. And currently, we're just looking to finalize the current round with $0.5 million to complete the clinical study and finalize the regulatory path. And afterwards, of course, we will raise more money for the final trial. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ariel. Everyone who would like to contact Ariel is welcome to do so via our link for InvestIL. So we'll write this in the chat. You can approach my email, which is victoriar@bdoco.il. So now, please, Tamara, she's the CEO of a very interesting startup called Eva Agritech.
Hi, thank you, Victoria. According to the World Bank, the population of cities is going to double by 2050. To accommodate this influx, the world will need to add the equivalent of an entire New York City every month for 40 years. But this comes with a price. The construction industry is highly dependent on the mining of materials which have been depleted in the recent years. Cement production is highly polluting. Globally, gigatons of carbon are emitted each year from cement production alone. And each year, 3 gigatons of construction and demolition waste are generated globally, only partially recycled. Hi, I'm Tamara. I'm the founder and CEO of EVA. I'm a climate scientist, and I have been fascinated with concrete since my childhood. My dad is a construction engineer, and my uncle runs a concrete plant, so maybe it has something to do with it. I used to take pride in the multi-million-dollar engineering projects that I led. But when I realized the environmental impact of such projects, I decided to do something about it. That's how EVA was born. In EVA, we want to do our part to make the world a safer and more affordable place to the coming generations to live. It has to be the previous slide. EVA turns waste into value. Our pioneering technology unlocks the hidden potential of demolition waste. Using a series of data-driven, optimized physical and chemical activation processes, EVA's patent-pending technology transforms this waste into high-quality cementitious material that can partially replace polluting cement in concrete. This breakthrough not only slashes carbon footprint and costs, but also preserves the essential properties builders rely on. So most of us saw many concrete trucks in their way to construction sites. The cement powder is the most important and expensive part of the concrete. It happens to be also the most polluting part as well. After the constructions, the structures are torn down, it's mandatory to bring them to specific recycling plants. While they recycle part of the demolition waste, a large portion remains difficult to treat and sell. And that's where EVA enters. EVA will be a technology provider primarily to those construction and demolition waste recyclers. We will add significant value to previously low value materials, generating millions of dollars of new profits to our customers. EVA has been finalist and prize winner of several prominent accelerator programs. We have raised last year approximately $1 million in pre-seed funding from governmental grants and notable investors such as the Walton family of Walmart. With that, we conducted numerous laboratory tests to optimize its activation processes. And moreover, we have conducted validation tests with multiple concrete companies which independently tested EVA's material to ensure it meets industry standards. Following that extensive testing, one of these companies incorporated EVA's material into one of its structural grade concrete mixes. and used it in a real load-bearing project, a significant vote of confidence for EVA's technology. And recently, EVA received another validation when we were invited to join the accelerator program of global cement company, Lafarge Holcim, which selects startups it views as promising candidates for partnerships and or investment. EVA's team brings together deep expertise in engineering, research, and business, motivated by a great desire to build a better world. We are supported by notable industry and scientific experts. We are excited to announce that we are raising our seed round. Our main investors are committed to significantly increasing their share in this round, underscoring their continuing confidence in our vision. We invite you to join us in this transformative journey to create a safer and more prosperous world. And if you come to our lab, you'll get some of this exclusive seed team EVA's memorabilia made of our concretes. Thank you.
Thank you, Tamara, for this interesting presentation. I think it's always a good sign when the current angel investors that this team has are willing to increase their round. So it's always a good sign for the company. So good luck. And of course, we are here to support all this process. Okay, so now we are moving to our last startup for today. Last but not least, Amir Lieberman with this very groundbreaking, visionary AI-based startup. So please, Amir.
One more second. Now you hear me. And I will share my screen. Just a second. And off we go. So thank you very much for joining us, for staying a bit late and giving me the chance to speak to you last. I'm Amir Lieberman. I'm CEO of Emotion Logic, daughter company of Nemesisco. And I would like to share with you our story. Emotion Logic provides AI solution for voice-based risk assessment and emotion monitoring suitable for fraud detection, compliance, and various client-facing needs. I actually read that from the page because it's very important and word delicate. But the problem that we actually address is the fact that people sometimes, when interacting with different businesses, they do not necessarily tell you the truth. It can be in market research, it can be when they ask for a loan, it can be when they ask for a credit line, and it can be simply when they are filing a claim and or requesting for an underwriting procedure. When we talk about addressing these things, we want to bring a solution that allows you to combat fraud and improve hiring, enhance interactions when improving customer connections, and of course, help you make ethical decisions by making precise and responsible interactions. We have a lead team in Israel. As you can see, we are not young people. We have people with a lot of experience and a lot of years in the market, each in its own field. And we have really a wonderful team today. Just about the background of what the secret sauce is. Emotion Logic, as I said, is a daughter company for Nemesisco. Nemesisco has been investing since 1997. I also manage Nemesisco, so I know. Over the past 25 years, we've created a technology that serves both governments and financial institutions alike, all in a single box or wrapped under the hook, not connected to anything, not sending any data, as many of our government customers require. But lately, we have discovered that we want to do something bigger. Just to talk about the LVA engine, which is the core of what we do, invented back in 1997. This is how old I am. And I work on it together with a dedicated team of developers since. LVA technology is actually a set of mathematical processes that extract 151 proprietary biomarkers from the human voice, which are indicative of different emotion settings. Now, these emotion settings is not what you would assume. If I use my voice in a very aggressive way, it's not about telling you that I sound aggressive. It's about me saying, thank you, sir, thank you very much, and actually feeling aggressive, which is my genuine emotion, and this is what LVA will detect. $30 million invested so far in the technology, over 300 human years invested in this research, and we actually control an unparalleled collection of audio recordings collected in real-life settings, while it was still allowed to do so. Today, it's very difficult, and this is a very significant barrier for companies competing with us, collecting real-life audios under GDPR today. Good luck with that. We are competing in a market. We are competing in the EDR market, emotion detection and recognition market. I will speak a little more about it in a second, but it's a pretty crowded market today. There are many companies today that say that they can detect emotion from voice or from a speech. Some of them use words, some of them use tonality, some of them use trained data sets on different actors. I think emotion logic stands very uniquely in the sense that it is the only one that actually peels out the biomarkers directly from the voice. We do not use AI, we do not use networks for the feature extractions from the voice. All the data sets were trained on real-life subjects, never on actors. Actually, the moment I will detect an actor acting, that will be the day when I say my technology lost its effectiveness. The status of what we deliver today, the status of the platform, the product itself is ready. It's onboarding customers. It's already serving customers. We have a selection of tools to maximize your productivity. I will demonstrate a few of them in a second, but the unique thing about all of them is this special protocol where it shows from on one side what the person said and on the other how he really feels. And as you can see, there is not necessarily a correlation between the two. This is actually taken from a medical examination, trying to assess someone's depression and level of stress. So our unique offering is the ability to look deeper than the text, deeper than the reported emotion or report, and actually pick up how people really, really feel deep inside. We've packed this technology into different types of solutions. Obviously, everything I will show now as a manual process can also be done in the background with API calls. So it is automating procedures. And we offer today different services. The Field GPT Advisors is actually an AI expert that understands the human emotions much better than any of us can do with his own ears. And all it looks for is a recorded audio, recorded conversation from your claim center, from your call center, from your application, or from any other source that would be relevant to the use case. So for example, we can use general fraud, or we can deal with romance and the love detector. We can deal with call center managers or with mental health. And all these will perform just as nicely using your data, especially if it is tailored to the needs. How simple it is to use it? Very simple. You select the right Field GPT, you drag and drop, or you select a file. You need to make sure that the audio language is correct. You need to select the language which you want the report in, click Analyze, upload it to the cloud, done the process, and the risk report is generated in this case with the insurance risk advisor. Very, very simple to use, very informative, very accurate, with the basics of responsible AI and the ability to pinpoint the exact location where something is causing the alarm, so a human eye can review and make sure that it is dealing with it in the proper way. Uptone is another solution that we offer. That's for those who do not wish to record conversations, send them, and in fact prefer to maybe save the time asking the questions. So Uptone is a questioning system based on WhatsApp, but it has also web applications. You can choose a questionnaire. You can create your own questionnaire around any topic that you would like to explore. For example, questionnaires for personality assessment, questionnaire for credit risk assessment, or candidate insights, or even insurance fraud, again, or any other type that you may think, market surveys, etc. Customer receives the set of textual questions and responds with his voice, and a report is automatically generated based on these reports with a high level of accuracy and high level of data, of course. This is actually a first case study result we received from partners in Latin America. This is 100% of cases detected by their own scoring system as high risk and then submitted to our system. We used the questionnaire system. People that responded to that, 52% of them were actually detected as high risk by the Upton application, out of which 70% were eventually rejected because material evidence was found. 30% was still paid because material evidence was not found. On the other hand of the scale, 35% of the cases that were found to be low risk, out of which 75% were actually paid. So the company had to invest in research, had to invest in the investigation, and eventually ended up paying those. 25% was still rejected based on various reasons. We are after the EDR market that is projected to significantly grow from 23.5 billion today, 23.5 billion actually in 2022, to 43 billion by 2027 with a growth rate of 12.8%. The main markets we are targeting within this EDR market is, of course, the BFSI, that's for fraud and compliance, customer service, market research, healthcare, and education and entertainment, and of course, HR personality and security vetting. These are all markets that we are currently active in. Business model is very simple. We charge from we can charge per test, we can charge per minute, we can charge per day, we can charge per virtual employee. That will come to light pretty soon. We hope to release those by January 2026. But as you could see, Field GPT experts are already there. They're just not entities, but they are already available. We take everything to make working with enterprises easy. We have a GDPR, we are as much as possible GDPR compliant. Of course, the last mile is always with the company, with the entity, to make sure that the use is legitimate and everything, and to make sure of proper notifications. We just received our SOC 2, so we are committed to security and privacy by design. Integration with our systems is extremely simple and in fact can be on-prem or off-prem as desired. And our pricing plans are very, very lucrative, very easy to consume, ensuring high margins per transaction. Roadmap today, we've started operating in 2022. Up to date, we've been investing about $3 million in the company, creating this platform, creating all these wonderful services. And right now, the system is active. We've got several dozens of paying customers and about 1,000 subscribers already in the platform. We have not done marketing yet. We expect 2025 to be the really go-to-market phase. We need investment now to really go and get the name out there and get the market. And that's what we plan to do, reach by 2028 about 1 million subscribers in the system. What are we going to do with the investment? We are seeking $10 million investment today. 45 of it will be allocated for marketing, 35% will be allocated for ongoing research and R&D, 15% for human capital, and 5% will be allocated for creating a Motion Logic online university, which is another part of marketing, but is needed for market awareness and market education. We believe that this investment round will help us reach the $20 million sales yearly, and that should happen within 24 months, so we can be ready for the next round of investment. Obviously, there are many advantages in investing in Motion Logic today. First of all, that's an exceptional opportunity for tremendous profit potential. Second, there are actually different types of business models that we can serve. with the virtual experts and subscriptions and API use. There is a minimum risk for the investment because the product is ready, testable, and it's on the market. People are paying for it for over a year now, for almost a year now. We were the first to actually talk about emotion detection in voice. The patents in this field are under my name, and they are pretty old now, but a lot of the secret sauce is still secret, and that allows a very high barrier for competition to come in. And the company is built with a very strong team of experienced leaders in both marketing and sales and any other thing that is related to the company's success. If you ask about academic accreditation for the core technology, we work a lot with universities. We actually have universities as customers on the platform. We love research. Previous research was done by Duke, by Tsukuba in Japan, Duke in USA, of course, Tsukuba in Japan, Matama College in India, UNISA in South Africa, but also in many, many other universities. The paper is too short for that. That's it. Thank you so much. General disclaimer, of course, applies. And if you want to test yourself and take a fun personality test, just scan the QR code and we at least get it look in the true mirror. Do not be afraid. Data is erased and the results are, of course, favorable. We want to sell to you. There is a biting test as well, but this is not it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Amir, for your interesting presentation. I'm always aware when I'm talking with Amir, since his platform can identify the whole variety of emotions, so also truth and lie and all the aspects of emotions. So it's quite be aware of this when for investors that want to meet one-on-one. You should know this. Okay. Yes. So, okay. So thank you very much. And now it's time for questions. The last part of our webinar for today. So feel free to write in the chat. Okay, you're muted, so just write in the chat any questions. We already have few questions here, so I'll just go over 2-3 questions, and if there'll be no anything else, we'll sum it up. So the first question is, what are the investment ranges in terms of amount are we dealing with our Angel Club? So the Angel Club is working on investments between $500,000 to around $3.5 million. So we add several investors. It can be a one leading investor and so on, but those are the ranges in terms of the investments we provide to the startups. Okay, so additional question, what startups do you have? Okay, so of course, this evening you saw 3 of the startups that we have in our portfolio. We have additional startups, and of course, any angel investor that will join the club, he will be able to be introduced to a variety of startups. And okay, it's the same question, but people are asking here, how can I contact the startups? So we have in your chat, you have my email, victoriar@bdo.coil, if you want to be introduced to any of the startups and in person. So please write there and we'll arrange the meeting, of course. Okay, how, of course, this is the typical question, how to join the club. So it's very simple. Our process is digital. And the first step, of course, after this webinar, you will receive a link to apply to the club. In this link, you will have a digital form that you need to fill out. In this form, you'll be asked about your investment preferences, amounts, what kind of industries are you interested in. So we'll be able to recommend you startups and to tell to your investment needs the startups that are relevant for you. So after you fill out this digital form, you can, of course, then you will be activated as an investor in our club. We will as well contact you to understand more in depth your needs, and of course make sure that the ticket size is comparable to what exactly we are looking in the club. I will just remind you that the ticket size is $100,000, okay, for investor. And after this, once you are qualified as an investor in our club, you will be introduced to startups and be invited to events. Yeah, okay, one last question, and then we'll sum it up. There are no, I will repeat, I said it also in my presentation, but there are no membership fees, okay, in the Angels Club for investors, no membership fees. Because we are working on infrastructure of BDO. This is one of our core competencies, as I presented in the presentation previously. Yeah, so, and no, you're not obliged to invest. Once you join the club, you basically confirm that you are willing to receive marketing materials from us, information, educational programs, invitation to different events. And if you decide to invest, it's your, of course, decision in any startup that you like. You're not obliged to invest once you confirm your participation in the club. Okay, one last question, and then we'll finish and sum it up. Investors, okay, people are asking me what are the benefits for investors if they bring another investors. So here it's important, it's a very important actually topic, because it's investor that will bring also his friends or colleagues and would like to invest together, or people to join the club, will also enjoy part of the commission that we received, and will be part of our business model, and will be able to also earn from other investments that are happening there. And if you, of course, want to receive more information about this, again, you have my email in the chat. Okay, so yeah, there are some questions that are repeating, so I think this sums it up. So thank you very much. Thank you for all the participants, and thank you for all the panelists and all the insightful lectures that we received today. And we are waiting for you, of course, in our next events of the Angels Club. And feel free to write in the email and join and apply. And we'll be happy to meet you in our really interesting events. It's really our goal here to make this platform as rich community as possible. So and beneficial to the Israeli startups in these challenging times. And thank you so much for joining. And have a nice evening, and of course, quiet times here in Israel. And thank you.
Thank you, Victoria. Good night, everybody.